Hi, and welcome to Kidney Plugged In. April 7th will mark the 7th annual Green Shirt Day, a day to honor the Logan Boulet Effect, which has inspired hundreds of thousands of Canadians to register as organ donors. The Kidney Foundation is, once again, a proud community partner of Green Shirt Day, and we strongly encourage you to join us this Green Shirt Day to educate and inspire yourself and others to make the gift of life. On this special Green Shirt Day episode, we take a look back to the debut of Green Shirt Day in 2019 and the 6 years since then, as we learn through interviews with Logan's parents, Toby and Bernadine Boulet, how the Green Shirt Day movement has evolved over the years into a day to celebrate not only the importance of organ donation registration, but to emphasize the importance of continuing kitchen table conversations about organ donation registration. This year, Geoffery Kehrig, an elementary school teacher from Coquitlam BC, was announced as the winner of the Green Shirt Day 2025 Design Contest. His thoughtful and evocative design has captured the hearts of many, and we are honored to have Geoffery, who grew up in Humboldt, Saskatchewan, join us to talk about this labor of love. So please stay with us, because this special Green Shirt Day episode is coming up next, right here on Kidney Plugged In.
So hello, Toby and Bernadine. Thank you so much for joining us back on Plugged In and for attending our Kidney Gala here in Vancouver. It's really a pleasure to have you as our keynote speakers tonight. But what I really wanted to focus on is an initiative that's been all over the news recently and something that's just around the corner called Green Shirt Day. And I'm wondering if we can just talk about that and how this Green Shirt Day first started.
David Peckham from Live On Canada just called us in, I don't know, July or August and said, hey, I've got an idea. Okay. And his idea was that we should have Green Shirt Day like Pink Shirt Day for organ transplant awareness. And we're like, we don't know who you are, and we don't know if we want to do this. And he convinced us with his passion and compassion and dedication to the task so we had another phone call and we signed on. We said, okay, you can use Logan's name, and basically Canadian Transplant Association and David Peckham have done all the work. We just lent Logan's name and we are there to support.
Green Shirt Day is happening on April 7th. Can you talk a little bit about why April 7th?
So April 7th is the day of Logan's passing, and so we're recognizing that day because that is the day that Logan passed. And it has a lot of significance to us. The Humboldt bus crash was on the 6th, and Logan battled and was able to stay with us till we could all be there, and so that all the preparations could be made for his organ donation and his recovery. And so we made it to April 7th, and that will be the day of Green Shirt Day.
What you and your son have been able to do to promote organ donor awareness over the past 11 months. Nobody else has been able to come close to that. Over 100,000 people have now registered. And that's absolutely remarkable.
It really is, that people have taken up and been impacted by what happened and impacted by Logan and his decision to become an organ donor, and for us to be able to fulfill that and to follow through on that. It is amazing, and we always just kind of think of Logan just being our son and our kid, and he's not Terry Fox. Terry Fox is a legend, I guess, and when people say to us, oh, well, Logan is like Terry Fox, we just kind of look at each other and just think that we're not on that level. But people who are waiting for organ transplants and waiting for those organs to become available, I can certainly see how the influence of Logan has brought them hope and brought them a chance that may not have ever been there before.
You've taken something that for a lot of people they haven't thought about, or they haven't even had that kind of conversation, and you're putting it out there. And you're creating an awareness among individuals, among families that's never happened before in this country. And I think when we talk about, it leads the Logan Boulet effect. That is exactly what this is.
When Logan lived in Saskatchewan, they owned the Dairy Queen. And so that family wants to promote Green Shirt Day. They wanted to order shirts for all their employees for that day. And then he talked to the regional manager of Saskatchewan Dairy Queens, and they're on board. And next thing you know, we organized that to buy the shirts through our school district, whatever gets shirts, they're the exact shirts. And now there's over 1,100 Dairy Queens t-shirts across Canada. We sent the order in today, in 4 days. They had 4 days. So our school was getting orders like, this is from Nova Scotia, this is from BC, this is from Quebec. Like, are we supposed to do that for all these provinces? And I'm like, so I phoned Gavin and said, really? And Gavin goes, oh yeah, we put it out across Canada. You're gonna get, and so we got Dairy Queens, not all, but Dairy Queens from across Canada are going to be wearing green on Green Shirt Day. So it's like, and we don't know any of these. We only know the Dairy Queen owner of that and the Dairy Queen owners of Lethbridge. That's all the Dairy Queen owners we know.
That's amazing. That is really amazing.
We all can miss things that get thrown away like a paper cup or like a favorite book that's been tossed aside. That doesn't really mean it's over. Get another chance to hold you. Maybe we can stop and rewind. You gotta give it everything you got. Don't worry about what you're not. I'm giving you another shot at love. Yeah, we can prove them wrong. Forever we'll be strong. I'm giving you another shot at love. Yeah, we can prove them wrong. Forever we'll be strong. I'm giving you another shot at love. We all can miss things that get thrown away like a paper cup or like a favor. I'm giving you another shot at love. But they don't know the truth, don't see what I see in you. I'm giving you another shot at love.
The Logan Boulet Effect kind of really started quite quickly. At the beginning, it was called more the Logan Effect because of the impact that not only the crash had on so many Canadians, but also just Logan's decision and his desire to be an organ donor, and then our ability to be able to carry that through. And all of a sudden, it just inspired people all across Canada, then into the States and across the world to become registered organ donors. And so then it just kind of blossomed or bloomed to become the Logan Boulet Effect.
Logan was inspired by his trainer, Rick Suggett. Rick Suggett trained Logan in fitness, and Rick passed of a cerebral brain hemorrhage on June 27th, 2017. That really disrupted the boys, and it really affected Logan the most. And then he just announces that, I want to be an organ donor like Rick. If he can save 6 lives, so can I. I'm going to sign up on my birthday. And that's what it was. He was inspired by Rick.
Logan, he was the kind of the person that when he walked into a room, he was able to light up a room with his smile, and he would be a person that would get people involved in what was happening. But he was not the kind of person that was like, hey, look at me, look, I'm here. All of this, I'm quite sure he would say, like, this is a little bit much. I don't need all this recognition. I don't need to have like the Logan Boulet Effect. What I did was the right thing to do. I was not going to need my organs. I was going to a place that I wouldn't need them anymore. Other people could use them. I could make the lives better of other people. It was the right thing to do.
Some days are real tough, and some days are not as tough. I still go down every morning and turn Logan's light on, and we take turns or whatever, turn off when we go to bed at night. Logan loves sunshine, and so sunny days are important to us. If it's a sunny day, our front door's open. And it's those little things like that that make it easier for me. And we all grieve at different levels and different patterns. We've learned that from counseling and talking to people and getting advice from people we don't ask for, but we get it. And most of the time it's bang on.
As Toby said, some days you just roll right along. It's like nothing happened, and then something will happen and it just like impacts you, and you're like, oh yeah, I remember now, like, that this happened. As we get closer, it's like, oh yeah, this is what I did 3 years ago. This is what we did 3 years ago. And
So those kind of things are hard.
We know that the situation Logan was placed in, the national scope of the tragedy, and he being the only one that could actually donate when it's all said and done, that we have a voice that many, many families don't have.
We've lost our son. He's not coming home. But then there was that ray of hope because it meant the impact of what we went through and the loss of Logan could actually help out other people. And I think that makes it a little bit easier to get through our loss too, is because we know that there is some good, there's something positive that has come out of the crash and the loss of Logan, that it is going to make an impact, that it is making a difference to people all across Canada, all across the world, that every time someone registers, it just means that there's that little bit more hope that there's going to be a match, that there's going to be a kidney for someone, and their life on dialysis and with dealing with kidney disease might go away. And that's that ray of hope or that sunshine. That took a little bit of time to like, why does this make a difference to you? Now we much more understand that than we did before.
I'm becoming thankful and happy to help people to do what they need to get done. It's getting easier to share the joy that people have, and it's genuine joy. And sometimes it's like awesome. It's awesome. It is.
On March 22nd, the city of Port Coquitlam issued a proclamation declaring April 7th, 2022, Green Shirt Day. Kathleen, welcome to Plugged In. Thanks for joining us.
Thank you. Lovely to be here.
It was such an honor to be watching you today at the City of Port Coquitlam City Council meeting. You received the proclamation for Green Shirt Day on April 7th. Can you tell me about this?
I think one of the things I said at the ceremony today was talking about how this provides an opportunity for conversation to happen. So when people see that the city of Port Coquitlam has proclaimed it, and then people may talk about that a little bit more. And it's those conversations that people have with one another that raises the awareness of the importance of organ donation. So every time we can get a city to sign on and proclaim that, we have that opportunity for more conversations.
By making that proclamation, we're sending a message to our community, but right across the entire province and country, about the importance of organ and tissue donation, about the life-changing power and ability that we all have within us, an amazing gift that we're able to give.
Let it be the first thing. Let it be the first thing. Let it be the first thing. When you come home to me. When you come home to me. Kiss me like you did when we were first in love. That I'm the air you breathe and couldn't live without. Let it be the first thing. The first thing. Let it be the first thing. The first thing. Let it be the first thing. The first thing. When you come home to me. When you come home to me.
April 7th this year will mark the 5th anniversary of Green Shirt Day. One of the new things about Green Shirt Day this year is a 5-year new design for the shirt. And we're really pleased to have joining us today on Plugged In, the creator of the new design, Brandy Hay. Hi, Brandy.
Hi, thanks so much for having me.
Can you take us back to the beginning and talk about how it came about that you ended up creating this new t-shirt design?
Absolutely. So last year around February, I had touched base with Toby and Bernie at we had a press conference here in Saskatchewan. It was in February, I believe. That was the first time I had met them in person. We of course have talked over the years. And so we got to, kind of talking about after we went for lunch and caught up and everything. And I shared more kind of what I do on a daily basis and work-wise. I'm a brand and creative designer at a company called Tech here. So my skills are very much rooted in multimedia design, graphic design for print and digital. And so Toby had kind of asked at that point if I would be interested in kind of helping David Peckham, who's the organizer of Green Shirt Day. It's all volunteer run. So at that time, he's like, okay, so like website stuff and graphics. If we need help with this, would you be able to help out? And I said, absolutely. What happens with most creative types is as soon as there's an opportunity for kind of anything to go like aha moment, especially if you're in branding, marketing, that's what I live and breathe every day. I can't even turn it off. I started that kind of got inputted into my brain, mixed with all the stories that Logan's parents shared. They're always quick to acknowledge that, Logan was just one of the stars kind of on that bus. So that's kind of where the idea developed. So it was probably about in the fall of 2022. I had this design pretty much all in my head. I just had to lay it out on the computer. And so I knew that I had wanted to incorporate, and I do have the design with me here. This was my test print once we had it all finished. So here's the design. And of course, there's a yellow star, and there's a star for every person that was on the bus. And so that's really the key element, was how can I honor all of the people on the bus, and that was done with the stars. And then of course the background with the triangle, that's for the Pittsburgh Penguins, Logan's love for Sidney Crosby, so we tied that in there. And then of course the hockey sticks. Every year people are putting out sticks on their front porch. If you're a player of hockey, you wrap your stick in green or you write on the tape. Hockey is obviously one of the common denominators there of that whole event. So I kind of combined all those elements, and then I wanted to make sure we had the date, which is, April 7th, and the Logan Boulet Effect. And then, from my end, I'm inspired as a recipient who's received, I've received a liver 14 years ago and my kidney 2.5 years ago. It inspired me, to talk about my story from a recipient perspective. And, after that event, from what they could track, it was over 150,000 Canadians signed up to become organ donors. And when you've been on that list, for me twice now, that is just, it's remarkable to hear, especially when you know how many people have not signed up. So it was really just this beautiful thing. So we always talk about the Logan Boulet Effect, and it has so much more meaning than just oh, he was an organ donor, I'm an organ donor. It's just inspired so many people to, really rally around this cause.
Bernadine and Toby, it's now 6 years later. Logan's legacy is strong and it's thriving. And as Logan's parents, what does this movement, that Logan's selfless act of registering to be an organ donor, what does that mean to the two of you?
I think that as any parent or any person who's lost someone and they've passed away, what you want is them to still be part of conversations. You want people to carry on with thinking about that person as if they're still around. And so to know that 6 years after such a tragic event as the bus crash, that people are still talking about Logan, and he's still making an impact and he's still making a difference. I think that that's really important. It always warms my heart when someone comes up to me and says something about, oh, I know who Logan is. It has impacted my family. I just had a conversation with a colleague at school who's new to our school, and she was talking about the fact that a relative of hers was able to get a liver transplant, and the opportunity came because there's more people who are registered, and it was after the crash time. So it, just knowing that it has made a difference and it still continues to impact people.
Some of the things that really have affected me that both Bert and I talk about quite often is that now in 2024, Green Shirt Day itself, April 7th, we even see it as a celebration. Some people have a hard time understanding that, but we have our annual Green Shirt Day skate. We invite all the community. It's free. You come skate. Got little things. We did a scavenger hunt last year. It was awesome. Our daughter Mariko helped out with that. It was great. And we're happy. We're there. We're helping people. Then we go for pizza after with all our volunteers, taking for pizza and there. But April 6th, that's the day of the tragedy. That's when Logan lost 14 Bronco family members. And then Logan passed April 7th and Dana Bronze passed on April 11th. And that left 13 survivors also. The tragedy just struck their families, and they've been working hard to get past that, and they can't. Some of them they'll always have that in there as a reminder. So for us, April 6th is a real tough day. That's a day. April 7th, to us now, to me, to us, to our daughter even, it's almost a day of celebration because we know Canadians and people that have received an organ transplant are thankful, and it takes a while to understand that. We understand that and we accept that.
But I think when we first started all of this, we had no idea what it would be like. What, Green Shirt Day? Oh no, like there's Pink Shirt Day, Orange Shirt Day. Just kind of sort of was starting to have some significance. And I remember like the first times we ever went to events, and people were just overwhelmed with joy of knowing what an impact that Logan had made and what we had made. And we just kind of still thought of it as being our loss, and our child had passed away. And then we slowly began to notice how it had impacted people and what a difference it had made and the hope it had given. I think hope is the big thing that, although we are not waiting for an organ, but just for all the people who are waiting, the hope that they're one step closer to getting an organ that they will need to create longevity in their life and to make them healthier.
Our next step of our journey is to the converted are converted. Now it's almost like you have to get, how do you get to people that are like on the fence and thinking, right? So we're working on that. And so I guess I'm excited about how we can continue to push and make Logan's legacy part of everyday conversation at the kids' table. We're getting there, but how do you make it every day?
Did you ever imagine that fulfilling your son's wish would lead to such a large movement that's recognized on Green Shirt Day?
No, we wouldn't have. Bernie will talk more about another part, but I couldn't have imagined it. And we just did what Logan wanted. And he wanted just to help.
Geoffery, thank you so much for joining us today on Plugged In.
Thank you so much for having me here.
Well, it's terrific. You know, it's a real pleasure to have you, Geoffery, because you are the designer of the new t-shirt design in 2025 for the Green Shirt Day t-shirt. How did it come about that you became the designer of this t-shirt?
Well, firstly, I've always loved hockey. I grew up in Humboldt, Saskatchewan. I grew up loving going to the Humboldt Bronco games. I mean, they were the superstars of our community. If you were like an 8 or 9-year-old kid and you had the possibility or the opportunity to talk with one of them, it was a huge thrill. And after the bus crash, it really affected a lot of people that grew up there. It really hit hard. It was very overwhelming. It was a very emotional time. And a lot of us just wanted to give or contribute or honor almost any way that we could. And I saw that there was a t-shirt competition for Green Shirt Day, and I thought, oh, that could be a nice way to give back or contribute or honor the memory of the Humboldt Bronco players from like the tragic bus crash.
And so you entered the contest?
I entered the contest. I'm a school teacher, and every year we have a Terry Fox run. And every year we kind of go over what might be a good Terry Fox design for like our own shirt. If, you know, once we learn a little bit about Terry Fox, we usually have a lesson or activity. And often I'll say, well, if you look at a lot of different Terry Fox shirts, one excellent strategy they've often used is having his silhouette, and it's an iconic silhouette. It's a very strong graphic. And I thought, oh, well, maybe that might be a great direction to explore for like Green Shirt Day. So one of the first things I did is I just kind of scrolled around online and I saw this really powerful YouTube documentary on Logan Boulet and the Logan Boulet Effect from Sports Illustrated. And there was one clip where he had this beautiful slap shot in a playoff game against Nipawin. And I thought, wow, it was like just a beautiful dynamic moment, and it looked so iconic. And I thought, wow, maybe I can find like a still photo like that. And there was a photographer in Nipawin I discovered had like an amazing photograph like that too. And I thought, oh, this would be the perfect starting place. So I went into it, I went into the design on my computer and I drew the outline and the silhouette, and then I put his number 27 on the back, and I thought it really captured that essence and energy of the Logan Boulet Effect, because it had that power to influence and generate hundreds of thousands of people to become organ donors. And I really wanted to almost capture that dynamic energy as well.
How did you find out that it was your design that was going to be put on these thousands and thousands of t-shirts and sweatshirts that people are going to be wearing?
I received an email, and it might have been like around November, December, just congratulating me and told me I won, and I was like, oh my goodness. And so that was pretty overwhelming. The only catch is they kind of asked me to keep it private. So I've got a bit of a big mouth, so I didn't even share it with my family. So when they finally heard about it, they were like, what? You didn't share this? I'm like, I wouldn't have been able to keep it if I would have started sharing it. So
that's what I was going to ask you, how that moment when you first find out, I mean, you must have wanted to.
Well, I shared it with my wife and my daughter, obviously. Yeah. So, but I was like, well, we're supposed to, keep that excitement for the launch.
It's been great having you here today. Thank you so much.
Oh, thanks so much for inviting me. And wear your shirt, green shirt, on April 7th. Thank you.